Yeah, I'm not really coming away from this very convinced by Gear. They're out of PP because I have pressure. Oh my god. I didn't even think about that. The last weekend of Regulation G featured what I believe was the first major official VGC tournament in Africa in a long time, although I don't know my history on that one. So I was hoping to get a team from the Johannesburg Special Event and try that one out on the ladder before being fully done with the format. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find any information at all on what was used at that event. I'm recording on April 30th. When I checked yesterday, there was not even a winner listed here on Victory Road, and even now, most sites that I check to get teams and whatnot have no mention of the event whatsoever. So I think using a Johannesburg team is just not going to work out. Like I said, it is the last day of April. I don't know whether Showdown will have a Reg G ladder tomorrow. I think it might because it was a Worlds format, but I don't feel like gambling on that. So unfortunately, we are instead going to go one more time back to the Seville Special Event. This team did not make top cut, did not make day 2. I believe it went 4-4 day 1, but it did feature on stream early in the tournament, the day 1 stream, and I know it got a lot of people's attention, and for good reason. In the one set that we saw against a Miraidon team, this one focused on poisoning the opposing Pokemon with Weezing, wearing them down, and making teammates like Incineroar, Giratina, and Rillaboom hard to remove. Giratina is an unusual restricted choice. It doesn't have the raw power of the more popular restricted Pokemon, but it does actually make some sense as a Pokemon that wants to just sit around on the field for a long time, and again, be difficult to remove because it has a lot of bulk. It has a bunch of useful resistances from the Dragon typing and the Ghost typing, and of course it can turn into a Fairy type, and it can set up with Calm Mind, boost its special defense, obviously boost its special attack too, and get some damage with Dragon Pulse and Shadow Ball, but make it harder to remove on the special side. And even with pressure, it can deplete the opponent's power points that much more quickly, and that can make it hard to break as well. Throw in recovery from leftovers, stacked with further chip recovery from the Rillaboom setting up grassy terrain. You have Incineroar intimidating opposing Pokemon, so it's harder to break through Giratina on the physical side. Of course, both of those only do those things when Weezing is not on the board, but you have that option with Weezing of shutting down opponents' abilities, which can reduce a lot of Pokemon's damage. Pokemon like Miraidon, Koraidon, and more, really, Kyogre, really benefit from having their abilities to give them that damage boost to break through opposing teams. So you throw a lot of bulk at them, you also shut off their abilities. The other two Pokemon I believe we did not see in the stream set, and I don't necessarily know what they're here for on this team. Iron Bundle, yeah, I don't know what that exists here to cover for. Obviously, it's very fast, and it gets Icy Wind. And with Focus Sash set, it has a chance to land that speed control to opposing teams. And it has a water and ice coverage. I kind of wonder whether it's to help deal with Landorus, partly, because Landorus can run Terra Poison or Steel, make itself impossible to poison, and kind of snipe the Weezing, break through a Weezing game plan. But I feel like it must be here for more than just that. And then the Ability Shield Ditto is really interesting. With the Ability Shield, of course, Ditto will always be able to activate Imposter, even if it's next to Weezing. But Ditto copies all of the opponent's stats when it transforms into them, except their HP. Ditto normally runs a Choice Scarf. There are other items that it uses sometimes, but Choice Scarf is the most common, because when you get exactly the same stat values as the Pokemon you've transformed into, the Scarf will make sure that you're faster. And you avoid the variance that comes with a speed tie. So this Ditto will speed tie with whatever it transforms into, because it is carrying the Ability Shield, again, to make sure that it can transform next to Weezing. And you also, I think, normally see Terra Ghost on Ditto, because the normal immunity, its fighting immunity as well that offers, is a little bit... It's hard to pick Ditto's Terra type because you don't know what situations you're getting into with it, but having those immunities can be valuable. This Ditto is running Terra Normal, and that makes me wonder whether it's here, again, as a specific matchup piece to transform into something specific. Like what? I don't know. Maybe Blood Moon or Ursaluna? I could see that. I could see Blood Moon being Ursaluna being an issue for this team. But I'm not sure what Ditto does specifically for that. But yeah, I could see some ground types being trouble for this team. Maybe that helps to explain the Iron Bundle. In any case, We're just going to jump on the ladder. This, again, should be the last Reg G content on the channel, so say goodbye to the format, but we are going to try out a restricted Pokemon that I don't think I tried before in the entire format on the way out. So that's fun. We get a Miraidon team right here. Pretty standard. I'm just going to play it. I think I'm just going to bring the same mode that Juan, the player who used this in Seville, brought to game 1 of the stream set, although I'm sure I won't play it as well. So, okay, Whimsicott, Miraidon lead. This Weezing is here to just click Poison Gas, get these Pokemon poisoned. This one doesn't have Toxic Spikes, like some do. But Poison Gas, of course, will, if it hits, poison both targets right in front of us, and I'll just fake out the Miraidon so it can't do damage this turn. Unless they switch for a Graffan. They just Terra Fairy. They do take the fake out. Not terrible chip damage either. The Encore Incineroar. Oh, that's a really cool interaction, actually. We also missed the Whimsicott with Poison Gas. Encore, Prankster boosted moves, of course, normally failed into Dark types, but the Whimsicott isn't using Prankster because I have Neutralizing Gas on the field, and that means that it just has a fast Encore that it can use on Dark types. That's cool. Alright, well, I guess I have to pivot. The Miraidon probably went for Dazzling Gleam. Oh, but it can go for anything now because it's not choice locked. It didn't get the move off. I'm going to click Poison Gas again. I want the Whimsicott poisoned, and I'm going to pivot Incineroar out to Rillaboom. Yeah, I didn't want to bring Giratina in on the Dazzling Gleam, if that was what it was. We do land the poison into Whimsicott this time. Can I pivot Weezing out to Incineroar here? I'll get the grassy terrain. And I can fake out Miraidon again. Maybe it's better to Dazzling Gleam and fake out. Okay, they go Ogre Pawn. So I'm not getting much damage into that. Especially with the light screen up. And actually, they can click Encore into Weezing now. Lock me into Dazzling Gleam. So maybe I do want to go Incineroar here, get an Intimidate into Ogre Pawn, and look to bring the Weezing back in quickly. I think that makes sense. I'll also just... I could Terra Fire. But Rillaboom's kind of low already. I am in a high horsepower the Ogre Pawn slot, but I kind of expect them to just knock Rillaboom out here. Encore. Rillaboom into fake out. Okay, the Ivy Cudgel, they do knock it out. That gives me Weezing right back in. The problem with the grassy terrain, of course, is... Can I go Giratina here? I think I can. No, I need to go Weezing, but maybe I can bring Giratina into the other slot. I think for this turn, I'm down to Flare Blitz the Whimsicott, actually. Getting that Encore off the board could be very valuable before I go bring Giratina in. They Moonblast Incineroar, so good thing I didn't switch Giratina into that slot. Get the Ogre Pawn poisoned. Knock out Whimsicott, who's coming in. Miraidon, okay. I don't have fake out pressure on the board now. Miraidon can do big damage into something. I think I'm going to Parting Shot Miraidon and protect Weezing. And that way I can get Giratina in relatively safely. They Electro Drift the Weezing slot, so that's excellent. They double into the Weezing slot. Yeah, now I can get Giratina in and I can start clicking Calm Mind. They don't even have the Encore pressure anymore. Miraidon's locked into Electro Drift, so no reason to worry about Terastallizing Giratina here. And I guess Weezing might go down here. They actually Electro Drift Giratina. Oh, that Ivy Cudgel crit almost knocks out Weezing, but not quite. That's, I guess, one thing that could be an issue for this team. Once your Weezing goes down in a matchup like this, you can be in danger. In the stream set, Weezing was able to stick around for a long time, but anyway. I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball into Miraidon. I want to get rid of that Pokemon. before Weezing goes down if I can. Okay, it's Iron Hands last. Yeah, good switch by them. Weezing is in danger now. Can I pivot it out and get an Intimidate here? I think I can. There is the risk that Miraidon comes back in and sets up the Electric Terrain, but if I get another Calm Mind with Giratina, and I have a lot of special bulk on the board anyway. And if they pivot Miraidon in right now, then I have Fake Out Pressure into it with Incineroar. I'm not getting pressure. Not that it matters a lot, but I'm not getting pressure drops. I guess they thought I would Terra Giratina there. I'm not sure why. I'm not getting pressure drops when Weezing is on the field next to Giratina. Okay, I can fake something out, or I can just pivot back to Weezing. I'm going to click Calm Mind with Giratina. Ivy Cudgel does have the boosted crit rate, but Giratina resists at least. I think I can preserve Incineroar here, because I can get another Intimidate. I am starting to kind of throw away my other Pokemon and become very dependent on Giratina, but I do think, yeah, I'm setting up reasonably well here for Giratina endgame. Follow me. I just clicked Calm Mind. Low kick into an immunity. I don't know what they're trying to do with the Iron Hands. Do they just not have something to hit Giratina? But then they could be doing damage to my other Pokemon. Couldn't they? Okay, if I protect Weezing and get a KO here, then I can threaten Miraidon before it gets its terrain up. So yeah, hey, I'm all for hitting the Ogre Pawn here. I have absolutely no problem with that. Because again, the goal is Weezing will probably go down this turn, but only then do they get the electric terrain, and then I've knocked out Miraidon. Shadow Ball to Miraidon. Poison Gas. Weezing, I think, will not be able to execute a move, but if it does, we can Poison Iron Hands finally. Yeah, trading Weezing for Miraidon here is just fine with me. Iron Hands is not looking like a threat at all. The Electrodrift Giratina. That did like 10% at +3 special defense without the terrain. Not bad. But they don't get their terrain up. Miraidon goes down, and still no terrain. And now I get another Intimidated Iron Hands, and it is poisoned. I did get the Poison Gas. And, I mean, it has no way to break through Giratina. So, alright, solid first game. I guess I could have just attacked there instead of going for another Calm Mind, but anyway. We'll attack here. That really doesn't hit very hard. That was a +4 Shadow Ball. I mean, I'm sure it's AV Iron Hands, but still needed the Flare Blitz to close it out. Let's get another one. Terapagos, Rillaboom, Chi-Yu, Electabuzz, Farigiraf, and Dragapult. Okay, interesting. Terapagos... Oh. Is this what Ditto's for? Except Ditto can't transform into Terapagos when it's terastallized, right? I think that's how that works. Because Terapagos looks pretty dangerous, actually. Maybe Giratina could beat Terapagos if I just don't terastallize Giratina. Yeah, maybe. I think I like the Incineroar Weezing lead again here. Probably. They do have... I was going to say double Fake Out, but they only have single Fake Out. But if I can start spreading poison, especially if I can poison Terapagos... And they don't have a ton of threats into Weezing immediately. There's the Chi-Yu, but even then it doesn't get Beats of Ruin. Could be Special Dragapult, but... Yeah, I think spreading poison early here is good. I like Giratina, and then the question is, do I bring Rillaboom or do I bring Ditto? And I think the answer is probably Rillaboom, because if it's a Calm Mind Terapagos and they set up with that... Well, Ditto does threaten that, if it transforms into Terapagos. But again, as soon as they terastallize Terapagos, I'm pretty sure I can't transform into it. So, Rillaboom it is. Maybe later in the video I'll try to get those last two Pokemon in to some games. Anyway, we get Chi-Yu and Farigiraf here. My first thought was to Fake Out Chi-Yu, but of course I can't do that because of the Farigiraf on the field. I could Terra Water the Weezing. I could. I kind of... Or I could I could protect Wheezing, Parting Shot Chiyu. That's a little bit slow. They do have Rillaboom. Well, I don't know if they brought it. Let's see how it plays. Let's try the early Terra on Wheezing, and I will Parting Shot Chiyu. Dark Pulse into Incineroar. Okay. If it's choice to Chiyu, then the Terra Water is actually not beneficial there. Well, it is into Farigiraf. That Psychic still did a fair bit. Okay. And I didn't get my Parting Shot. I think I'm actually down to go for a knockoff into Farigiraf here. Maybe I shouldn't. No, they switched it out. Okay, knockoff into Terapagos is kind of nice, though. Especially if I can maybe get a chance to poison it here. Leftovers, so it's probably a Calm Mind Terapagos. Maybe I should be taunting it. I think this is okay, though. Go Parting Shot into Terapagos. They Terra immediately. Okay. That's going to mean big Starstorm damage into Wheezing. I don't think I get to poison it. No. Alright, that's awkward, but yeah, we'll see what I can do here. I'm down to just Giratina and Rillaboom already. I don't have my Terra to use in front of this Dragapult, but also using that in front of Terapagos would be pretty scary anyway. I'm going to click Calm Mind and Woodhammer into Terapagos. They protect it. Okay, covering for the Fake Out. Big Dragon Darts, big damage, Banded Dragapult perhaps. Surely choiced in some way. So, yeah, I don't want to keep taking damage from that. Dragon Pulse is stronger than Shadow Ball. Okay. Woodhammer to Terapagos. But I think this Terapagos has probably just gotten me. Oh. Okay, we crit the Dragapult. That's knocked out. But Terra Starstorm knocks out Rillaboom. Not Giratina. Do still have Giratina. I do still have a few more turns of terrain. But that Chiyu is going to do so much damage now. Yeah. I just lose to Chiyu. So, okay. I didn't know how to play this matchup with this team. Let's be real. I don't know how I'm going to play most matchups with this team. I just had some idea of the Miraidon one because I saw it on stream. Yeah, Giratina will drop there. Alright. Got another one. An Ice Rider team. Incineroar, Rillaboom, or Shifu, Pelipper, Raging Bolt. Classic. Yeah, Ice Rider looks dangerous. Iron Bundle actually looks good into a lot of these Pokemon. That's something to think about. And not so much the Ice Rider itself, though. Oh, maybe depending on its Terra type. If you know, I force out a Terra Fire or Water or Dragon, I have Freeze Dry, right? Yeah. Or Grass. Any common Terra type on Ice Rider, pretty much, except Fairy. Then Iron Bundle is threatening into it, but not in Trick Room. Alright, let's try the familiar lead. Do I bring Giratina to this? Giratina is good into everything except Calyrex, pretty much. Raging Bolt's a little shaky, but I'll bring it. And then, you know what? Let's try our bundle. I don't know at all that this is what it's for, but let's see. Okay, Calyrex, Raging Bolt. Let's poison these. Or I could taunt the Calyrex. They don't have anything to stop me from doing that. Yep, and that could deny Trick Room if they're going for it. But I also can knock off into Calyrex. I don't have Will-O-Wisp on Incineroar, unfortunately. Okay, they just double protect turn 1. Okay, makes sense. Good scouting. They might switch the Calyrex out here, but you know, I'll poison whatever they throw at me. I think they're taking a moment to figure out what that is going to be. This team definitely plays more slowly than some of the others that I've tried so far. Still only game 3. Go Terra Water immediately. Okay. And is it Trick Room? Nope, high horsepower into Incineroar. They'll get their Chilling Neigh, but like I said, they've made themselves a little more vulnerable to Iron Bundle now. The Raging Bolt makes it a little bit tricky, obviously, but yeah, well, that's kind of putting it mildly, actually. But let's see if they let me get away with this. Oh no, they protected. Okay, I mean that was kind of their obvious play, but I just was a little bit hopeful that I could cheese them there. Go for Taunt into Calyrex here. I still want to shut down a Trick Room if they have it. Glacial Lance, okay. They're looking for more boosts. Not a whole lot I could do to prevent that. Maybe I needed to be protecting more. I just didn't want to let them get Trick Room if they were going for that. Although when I'm running Wheezing, maybe they're not confident that they'll outspeed my Pokemon. Maybe I focused way too hard on Trick Room. In any case, let's try to get some KOs here. But then well, actually, yeah, Giratina might be able to beat whatever they have in the back if I can get rid of these two. So it doesn't feel like a good position, but it might be better than it feels. They switch them out. It does mean they lose their boost and Weezing gets to eat its berry, but having the Calyrex still there is not a great feeling for me. Well, I'm worried about Giratina taking a knockoff, but I guess I better try to set up if I can. Neutralizing gases on the field so they can't hit through Protect. Yeah, there's the knockoff. So no recovery now in Giratina. Don't think I beat this Incineroar. I think I needed to Terra Fairy there, actually. At least the knockoff will do less damage. Because I don't have an item. Parting Shot. Okay, yeah. Obviously the Iron Bundle idea didn't work out at all this game. Rillaboom might have been nice, actually, for the priority Grassy Glide into some of this stuff, but yeah, I don't really know what the Iron Bundle is for on this team. My suspicion that it's to remove ground types is still the best I've got. But I haven't run into any, so I can't test that. Alright, Terra Fairy here. So if they go for a big Draco Meteor or something, they don't get any damage with that. And I guess let's just try to remove the Urshifu. It's just Thunderclap. So that would have done less. And so would the Surging Strikes if I hadn't Terra'd. Yeah, let's lose Calyrex now. Probably. Well, if not that, then Incineroar. But hey, I'll play it out. Protect around Fake Out this turn. And there finally is the Trick Room. Yeah, alright. Well, maybe a triple Protect. But no, I don't get it. Okay. At least one more game, and I'll try to bring Ditto into this Sand team. Very interesting. This is not a good... This does not look like a good Giratina matchup at all. Honestly, I might need Ditto to beat this. So even though I said I was going to try to force it, it might not have to be very forced at all. In fact, I kind of want to bring... I kind of want to leave Giratina and Weezing both behind here. I don't know if that's correct, but yeah, I get Intimidate, I get Rillaboom. I think I want that. Let's see. Okay, they lead Zacian and Incineroar. That's good. I get to intimidate Zacian right away. And then how do we feel about switching Ditto in immediately? I really want Ditto to copy Zacian, so... unfortunately, because I intimidated it, normally Ditto would get to +2 when it copies Zacian, because you get the attack boost that they already have from Intrepid Sword, and then your own Intrepid Sword activates. Unfortunately, I've already gotten rid of their boost, so I can only get Ditto to +1, but... The other awkward thing is, I don't really want to leave Rillaboom in here, but... Okay, I'm actually just going to double switch. And then I can pivot right back to Incineroar if I want. Okay, they fake out Ditto and Sacred Sword Ditto. Awkward for me. Not great. Can I just Hydro Pump this Incineroar right now? I actually do think I need to be aggressive into it in this position. It's Swords Dance Zacian. Interesting. Interesting. Tempting. But I really think I need this Incineroar out of here if possible. I'll double into it. That does leave Ditto open to damage from their Zacian. And I don't know if I could beat their Zacian without Ditto. Maybe I can with Incineroar, with Flare Blitz, but... Okay, they attacked Iron Bundle, that's fine. We just delete the Incineroar from existence with a +1 Sacred Sword and land a big Hydro Pump at his Zacian. Okay, that makes me feel a lot better about the position. And there's Tyranitar. I'll go for another Intimidate here. And just Behemoth Blade into their Zacian. Try to remove that threat. Because then I could beat whatever their other Pokemon are. I could probably beat them with my Pokemon on the back. So yeah, I didn't bring my Restricted to this game, but it doesn't matter because I have their Restricted. And this one should work out just fine from here. We'll see what the last Pokemon is. It's Excadrill, okay. Terra Grass the Tyranitar, so it's not just going to get blown up by a Behemoth Blade or a Sacred Sword to the same extent anymore. I'll fake out... They could protect the Excadrill. But it still doesn't do damage if they protect it. And let's just go for big damage into Tyranitar. Oh, okay. I had a chance to attack Excadrill with the Ditto there, but I thought they'd protect. Maybe they're choiced. I don't know. We do lose Ditto, but we got rid of their Zacian first, so I think we take that. And I get Rillaboom in now. And I can... I think I'm down to Terra Water the Incineroar. And just double target the Excadrill. Yeah, we take that Drill Run. Rillaboom takes that Fire Punch, not too badly. Wipes out Excadrill with the Wood Hammer, and Flare Blitz into the Grass Tyranitar. How often do you see a Tyranitar get knocked out by Flare Blitz? But we saw it this time. The only move it ever showed was Fire Punch. Really interesting. Terra Grass too. Pretty unusual set, but we got past it. Koraidon Regidrago stuff, that's interesting too. It's a really scary team, but a team that really likes having its abilities, so I think we lead Weezing into this for sure. Even then, they might overwhelm Weezing with all these strong special attackers, but yeah, we deny Photosynthesis, Beads of Ruin, and Dragon's Maw. And also, Weezing is a Fairy type, so Regidrago can't blow it up with big Dragon type attacks. That all looks pretty good. What do I lead with Weezing? Is it Incineroar? Honestly, I might be down to lead Ditto into this. I think that could be fun. They have so many threatening Pokemon. Does it even matter which one I copy? I'm actually going to put Ditto in the first slot, though, so maybe we get their most threatening Pokemon. I don't love Giratina into this. Most of their Pokemon have some big way to threaten it. Koraidon might actually not, because they don't... A lot of them don't run Dragon Stab, and they run sets that are walled by Giratina. So Giratina might be worth it for Koraidon. Iron Bundle might be kind of worth it. It actually offensively threatens a lot of these Pokemon. I think Incineroar for sure. Giratina or Iron Bundle. Giratina really only seems good into... well, if I Terrasilize it. Alright. That changes things. Alright, I'll bring Giratina. Won't leave my Restricted behind this time. Chi-Yu, Fluttermane. Okay, Ditto turns into Fluttermane. Not bad. I forgot that my first slot would be their second slot, so actually I did probably want Ditto here on the theory that I was operating on. It doesn't matter. They just forfeit immediately. All right, I guess we take that. I saw their Flutter Mane set for a split second, but I don't know what it was. They just didn't want to deal with wheezing, I don't think. Fair enough. That means we get another one. That was a quick game. This team's played some long games, but also some short ones. This is standard Miraidon stuff again. I have no idea whether it's the same player. I hope not, but the Reg G ladder could be pretty dead right now. I might just call this last game, but we'll see. We'll bring these guys again. Yeah, we started with Miraidon. Maybe we'll end this with Miraidon, independent of the outcome as well. Especially since Miraidon was the matchup that we saw on stream. Okay, they lead Miraidon for Rigorath. That means I can't fake out the Miraidon turn 1, which is what I did last time I faced this team. I do kind of still wonder whether it's the same opponent. I really don't know. If it is, their Farigiraf was actually pretty threatening into Weezing with the Psychic, but I can't really Terror Water in front of Miraidon, so poison stuff, and... Oh, they don't have Armor Tail! Oh man, Neutralizing Gas is so confusing. I have trouble even getting my own head around it sometimes when I'm using it. Because there's so many different ability interactions in this game, it's hard to remember all the ones that are not there anymore. I'm saying I'm not clicking Fake Out because Farigiraf has Armor Tail, but it doesn't because I have Neutralizing Gas. Their abilities are turned off. I can't Fake Out the Miraidon. If you're yelling at me in the comments about that, then I should have waited a moment. I figured it out. Anyway, they DC'd. Hopefully they'll come back. If they don't, then I'll definitely get another game after this one. Okay, looks like they're back. Hopefully they'll make their choices. Okay, they do switch the Miraidon out to Iron Hands. Yeah, they knew I could still fake them out. They just go straight for a big Psychic into Weezing. That is kind of familiar, huh? I don't get the Poison into Miraidon this time. Or the Fake Out chip. But I'll just protect Weezing here and knock off Farigiraf. They could Fake Out Incineroar. But I just have to hope they don't. Because I would really like this damage into Farigiraf. Okay, they don't. Big damage. Now they don't have the Fake Out pressure anymore. I think I'm willing to trade Incineroar for Farigiraf. The only problem is, you know, they might not let me have that. But I think I'm willing to risk it. So just Dazzling Gleam and knock off Farigiraf again. Farigiraf's faster than Weezing. I didn't think that all the way through. Well, I still have Rillaboom available to change the terrain. I think I needed to switch Weezing out there. Yeah, well, I do get terrain control here. I can Fake Out Miraidon. It'd be nice if I had Giratina on the board to click Calm Mind while I do that. Actually, I think I'm going to high horsepower the Miraidon slot. That can also get some damage into an Ogre Pawn if they have that in the back. And I will go Giratina here to preserve Incineroar. But yeah, letting Weezing go down there was pretty silly of me. I should not have done that. They Volt Switch into Giratina, doesn't do too much damage. What am I... Well, I'm hitting Iron Hands with this high horsepower, that's what they have in the back. Some damage right there. And actually, in this position, Giratina is not really threatened by anything, so I can get a Calm Mind. And as much as I'd like to take damage into Iron Hands, I think it's better to get an Intimidate and preserve Rillaboom for terrain control. So we'll switch back to Incineroar. Of course, if they knock Incineroar out, then Rillaboom is forced in, and if they still have Miraidon in the back, then I don't really get terrain control anymore for very long. But the Intimidate's still nice. Fake Out Incineroar and Woodhammer. Okay, so Incineroar is knocked out, yeah. They can set up electric terrain whenever they want now, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I do get a Calm Mind on Giratina, and actually I have an opening to get one more, so... Giratina might still be able to win this. Do I Terra the Rillaboom, or do I need the Terra for Giratina? My gut is saying save the Terra for Giratina. We'll see what the Miraidon locks into when it comes back. The other thing I can do with Rillaboom here is try to knock out Iron Hands. It only works if they don't switch the Miraidon in, though. Yeah, if I get this priority Grassy Glide into Iron Hands. If I don't get the priority Grassy Glide, then they probably just knock out Rillaboom with Ivy Cudgel. It does nothing. So I think it's worth going for the priority Grassy Glide. And if I knock out Iron Hands, then whatever Miraidon locks into when it comes back, it can't switch moves ever again. Okay, the Miraidon comes back into that slot. But then I should get the Grassy Glide even without priority into Iron Hands. Yeah. And the poison damage... Okay, Drain Punches. So the poison damage won't knock it out. Even so... A high horsepower this slot. Hoping to KO Iron Hands, but again, catching Ogerpon on the switch is a possibility as well. I'll protect Giratina to scout what the Miraidon does. It's Volt Switch into Rillaboom, so they will get Ogerpon. That's really awkward. That's the one way that they can still make this difficult for me, actually, because now I can't safely protect Giratina around another Miraidon move. Alright, I'm going to say that it locks into Dazzling Gleam. So I'm going to Terra the Giratina here. High horsepower and Dragon Pulse into the Ogerpon slot. Yeah, I tried to avoid having to play this guessing game, but they did force me to in the end. Basically, if the Miraidon goes for Electro Drift, then the Terra on Giratina was bad for me. If it had gone for Dazzling Gleam or Draco Meteor, then the Terra was good for me. Well, let's kill a turn of their terrain. They'll still have another one after. They Terra the Ogerpon, and yeah, they probably have just too much damage for Giratina to overcome at this point. Honestly, it's probably worth it for me to fish for the double protect to get out of the terrain. Obviously, it only works 1 in 3 times, but hey, this was that one time. Perfect. Well, I mean, I still don't feel great about this position. I have a +1 Ogerpon throwing Ivy Cudgels at me, but yeah, the Miraidon will do at least a little bit less damage now. Actually, yeah, the +2 Giratina, that matters. Ogerpon survives the... Giratina survives the Ivy Cudgel. How much did the Electro Drift do? 28? Okay, I think so I probably still lose. I probably need another double protect to win. And the odds of that are not great. Well, it's 1 in 3 again. It's always 1 in 3, but... You know, 1 in 3 usually doesn't work out, despite what we've seen so far. Yeah, I'm not really coming away from this very convinced by Girat. They're out of PP because I have pressure! Oh my god. I didn't even think about that. I said that pressure could be useful. It's not an ability that's generally considered very good in VGC. But if you're trying to sit on the field for a while, getting rid of your opponent's PP, especially if they're choice locked with something like Miraidon into a bunch of powerful attacks, don't have a lot of points. I thought I just lost to another Electro Drift. I was not tracking it at all. But we forced them to struggle, and Giratina actually pulls this one back. I was about to say I'm not very convinced by Giratina, it's just not that strong, but hey, it worked out there. Alright, this is funny. They have a Toedscruel, so I don't know if I want to bring Weezing, because Weezing actually makes their Toedscruel better. It's a Kyogre team. What is this team? It's like a Reg H team with a Kyogre and an Urshifu grafted onto it. But if I can get Combine Giratina set up, then I'm in decent shape. But the Toedscruel actually is a problem for that. I kind of want to bring Ditto and see if I can turn it into Toedscruel. I think I'm going to do that. And I think I can poison the Toedscruel. I can't poison King Gambit or Chaldon, so that's awkward. I think I'm going to do Giratina Weezing lead. Ditto and... Yeah, they have 2 possible Defiant users, so I don't really love Incineroar that much here. Rillaboom's good for Kyogre, Iron Bundle's good for Toedscruel, and maybe some other stuff. You know what? I'm gonna bring Iron Bundle. I can freeze dry the Kyogre. Okay, Kyogre leading with Annihilate. It could be Final Gambit Annihilate, but you can't Final Gambit a Ghost type. Calm Mind. Protect Weezing, scout what the Annihilate does. They're taking some time with this decision. I don't know their sets, don't know what they're thinking about. Could be Calm Mind Kyogre, which, you know, in which case I don't really love letting it set up next to Giratina, but it's probably okay. But yeah, the Annihilate is the real wild card here. It is Final Gambit. Annihilate, okay. What can I do about that? You know what would be really funny is switching Ditto in. No, unfortunately, I would love to be able to get Ditto in and transform into Annihilate. And then it wouldn't be able to Final Gambit me, and I'd have the Final Gambit available into Kyogre. Unfortunately, if I switch Ditto into this slot, it turns into Kyogre. That still might be worth it. Let's go Iron Bundle, though. I think that's my most expendable Pokemon. This does give them Rain, but Giratina at least resists the Water-type damage, and is boosting up alongside Kyogre. And yeah, if they get rid of Iron Bundle, I mean, I don't think Final Gambit will knock it out through the Focus Sash, but maybe Kyogre will double up or something. If they get rid of Iron Bundle, then I actually can get Ditto in and copy their Kyogre. So it's not really the way I expected I'd be playing this. But yeah, we get rid of Annihilate. I could even hard switch Ditto in, probably. I don't need Iron Bundle to go down for that. Iron Bundle's probably not doing a whole lot in this position, although we'll see what their next Pokemon is. See if they know what their next Pokemon is. Gambit. Oh, I said that last game was probably the last one, but then I got all hyped when I beat the Miraidon by depleting its EP. Whatever. I'm enjoying the team. No need to artificially... What do I do here? Wait. Can I just Hydro Pump the Gambit in rain? Honestly, maybe. It'd be cool if it works. Yeah, this team's felt a little bit rough in some matchups. I think it's the kind of team where if you bring this to a regional, you really workshopped those matchups quite a lot. And so you know pretty well what you're doing into every kind of opponent that you're likely to run into, which obviously I don't have the benefit of picking this team up for the first time. They do let me Hydro Pump the King Gambit. It does less damage than I hoped. But I am having fun with it now, even if it was a little bit rough early on. Kowtow Cleave. I guess if I want to keep Giratina on the field, I need to Terra. I don't like that because I turn off my water resistance, but you have to do what you have to do, I guess. They're not going to let me do this again, are they? And I still have the Ditto available if they just knock out Iron Bundle, or if I switch Iron Bundle out. I'm just a little bit hesitant to do that into the King Gambit because it's threatening that big physical damage. Why I'd like to aggressively remove the King Gambit if I can, that being a threat to Giratina. One second. Okay. Yeah, they're still just setting that Kyogre up, but also we'll find out what their last Pokemon is here. Are they taking maximum time every turn? Oh well. They're entitled to do that, I just don't really know why. Especially when they have no actual decision to make here. Not a huge deal. The showdown timer keeps this pretty reasonable for both sides. They can take their time if they want, but I'm not left waiting super long. Alright, Rapid Strike or Shifu. Let's just freeze dry that. It's probably slower than Iron Bundle. It might not be slower than Iron Bundle. It could have a Scarf. But again, if they knock out Iron Bundle, then I get Ditto in. And now it's +4 Kyogre. It just gets better the more they set up this Kyogre. Except, of course, that it has to deal with the Kyogre. But then I also have Giratina set up. So that is quite a restricted duo for me to have access to here in Regulation G. Just as soon as I get Ditto in. This is also the second last turn of Rain. Maybe I want to get Ditto in next turn, if only to not set Rain back up myself. Well, that'll work out just fine then. We get +5 Ditto as Kyogre here. Ready? Here we go. It's Ditto time. I got 2 restricted Pokemon in Reg G. We're playing Reg I a little early here. Well, not early. I mean, this is going up. We're playing Reg I before we have official Reg I tournaments to cover on the channel. Anyway. Just Origin Pulse. Also, because it's not Scarf Ditto, I also can click Calm Mind myself with it. Let's just get this Urshifu out of here. Oh, okay, they timed out. They didn't want to have to deal with all this, which, you know what, is fair enough. I think this is a nice image to end on. I obviously didn't get to 3 losses, because I guess this team is just too good. I played all this time and didn't lose 3 games, but I have other things I have to go do anyway. And yeah, it doesn't get much better than Ditto and Giratina all boosted up, sitting right here, staring down opponents that are not ready to deal with them. We also did get Iron Bundle to put in some work in this game, so I don't still entirely know what it's here for on this team. My guess was ground types, and I don't think I faced a single one in this session. But I did blast through parts of this Rain team pretty nicely, with the Kyogre's Rain boosting my own Hydro Pump, and then the big Freeze Dry into Urshifu. Anyway, I believe that'll be the last Regulation G content on the channel. Next week, I will have, I think, a bunch of Reg I events all at once to take a look at. And I am glad that I ended it on a pretty unusual team and a pretty unusual restricted Pokemon that I don't think I had tried out before in the format. Giratina is not especially strong, and I definitely was feeling that at some points in this video, but it still was a fun Pokemon to set up and grind through teams with. I had a good time here. I was, like a lot of people, not very enthusiastic about the return of Reg G, but in the end I had a good time with it overall. And I'm having fun with Reg I so far too, so I'm really looking forward to closing out the season with a super interesting double restricted format. And it starts next week.